2022 is easily shaping up to be one of the best years in video games. I'm talking like 2018 levels of awesome right here, of like hype. Okay, so here are my top 10 most anticipated games of 2022. 10. Let's hit them streets. How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Jose, aka TheNYCGeek, aka TNG, aka the guy who just racked his brain. Got a piece of paper right here, notepad, all this, to really organize this list and get my thoughts together, because like I said, 2022 has a lot of promising titles coming our way. Now, obviously, this is all subject to possible delays and the sort, but you know, if the stars align and no problems surface, it's going to be a damn good year. Damn good year for games. At least, I can't predict for other events. But without further ado, let's start this list off. We're going to start right off. Number 10. Number 10, Dying Light 2. Now, full disclaimer, I never got a chance to play Dying Light 1. I've seen a lot of people stream it, and I actually have it on Steam. I have it. But it has sat in my backlog for a while now, which is a shame because I love zombie games. I do. And I actually enjoyed the developer Techland's game prior to Dying Light 1, Dead Island. I really loved that game a lot. What I've seen of Dying Light 1 though, the whole parkour mechanic in that big open world city, that day and night cycle that reminds me of like 7 Days to Die. I dig it, and I cannot wait for the sequel because I will not make the same mistake. I will be playing this game on release. I'm probably gonna miss a bunch of jumps, and I'm gonna be dying, falling to my death like a million times, but I'll be there. I will be there. Number 9, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. Woo! Woo! I cannot gush about how amazing the World of Darkness series is. I used to play Vampire the Masquerade tabletop a lot in the 90s on like Merc as well online. And it has always been one of my favorite systems, along with the other game series like Werewolf the Apocalypse and Mage the Ascension, Changeling, and etc. And those games have had a lot of iterations, some better than others, but at its core, the setting is so awesome. It's awesome, especially the rival vampire clans, the Camarilla, the Sabbat, the factions, the behind the scenes and all the politics and the behind the, like I said, the behind the scenes strings being pulled, all of it. And like a lot of people, I loved as much of a buggy mess as Vampires Bloodlines was back in 2004. I love that game. That game was incredible. I still to this day am haunted by that hotel level. That shit was creepy. For me, it was creepy. Okay, and it's a shame that it was plagued with technical issues and that the sequel is in development hell. But I am really, really looking forward to a new entry in the World of Darkness setting in video game format. I'm a little bummed out that we won't be making our own character, because eternal love for Clan Tremere. That's immediately my favorite clan and immediately what I always make a character for. But I think that it will honestly help the game. I do. I think that part of the reason that Bloodlines 2 is in that development hell is just the sheer scope of what they have in store for them, trying to live up to that series, that beloved entry, because it has like its own cult following, and then trying to keep up with all the different clans and ability. I think that's what's part of what's keeping it in development hell. And I think that them focusing the narrative here in Swan Song with 3 vampires, I think that's going to help it out. It's going to help fortify the narrative. It's going to help flesh it out. And honestly, that should be the most important part of any World of Darkness game, the story. Number 8, Star Wars Eclipse. This was a big surprise to me over on the Video Game Awards. I'm excited about a High Republic project that takes place, I believe is going to be about like 2 centuries or, yeah, it's going to be like 200 years prior to the Phantom Menace. So that's very interesting. I'm very intrigued by it. Heck yeah. And now I know this is going to be developed by Quantic Dream, and they have a big focus for interactive storytelling, which also works for, Star Wars. I do hope that they throw in a little bit more focus on some of the action, some combat mechanics, because that's a core part of Star Wars. For goodness sake, it has the word wars in it. But it is, the most impressive thing is it's great to see Star Wars, the IP, in the hands of someone other than EA. So, you know what? That's a big plus already right there. 7. All right, number 7. We go from Star Wars to Starfield, a brand new IP from Bethesda Studios. And I looked it up. I looked this up because I was like, it's been a while. It's been a while. This is the first new IP developed by Bethesda in over 25 years. That's a quarter century right there. 25 years? You guys haven't put out a new IP? They've been milking the shit out of Skyrim for at least 10 of those years. I don't know how long Skyrim's been out. I can't remember. But, look. You know that the hype for this, the level of scrutiny that they're going to get for this game, especially because it's keeping Elder Scrolls 6 back. Let me just say, you guys better not pull another damn Fallout 76, because that game was terrible. It was awful, garbage. And I got to be honest, out of all of the games here on my list, I think that this is the one that we will most likely not make it into 2022. We haven't seen any gameplay footage or the sort. So unless Todd Howard is keeping his cards close to the chest, I think it's a very real possibility that this gets pushed from November 2022 to like maybe early quarter 2023, maybe even like April or May. Which I will say, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'd rather the game come out polished and not be another Cyberpunk, another Fallout 76 with 16 times the bugs and whatnot. So please, Bethesda, take your time. Make sure this is your first IP in quarter century. Please, you got to stick the landing, okay? 6. Number 6, Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's coming out this month. That's this month. That's at the end of this month. I have for a long time been begging, please, Game Freak, to do something new. Not anything crazy. But something relatively new. I know they put out games like Snap or Go that aren't really aimed at me, but I have wanted something with the depth of the previous Pokemon RPG games, but like a new system, just something. And I know this isn't going to be the open world like a lot of us had hoped for and we thought with the trailer, but I think that this is going to be a step in the right direction. I do. For Pokemon, I do. Now, if they could stop making the main character the same damn protagonist like in every freaking game, and maybe, give me a different choice other than fire, water, grass every freaking time for my starters. Come on, Game Freak. I'm just saying, you could give me like dark beats psychic, psychic beats fighting, fighting beats dark. There you go. That was for free, Game Freak. Make it happen. 5. Number 5, Horizon Forbidden West. Here's where Sony begins swinging back, because Bethesda's going to be swinging, and with that Xbox exclusive with Starfield, and it's going to be on Game Pass, which again is an amazing deal. But here Sony's like, well, here's our counter punch: Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Zero Dawn is amazing. It stands as one of the best open world games I've ever played, ever. It's up there with like Ghost of Tsushima, easily. And Aloy, ooh, I love Aloy. I think she's legit one of the best video game protagonists right now. She's a badass. And if you know how much I love Ark, I love dinosaurs and I love mecha dinosaurs, and she's kicking their asses. Hell yeah. Aloy is awesome. And I cannot wait to see more of her journey. I can't. She's a great character. I love the combat in the first game, the whole archery thing. That was freaking cool. The visuals of the ruined world that nature has reclaimed. If Guerrilla Games delivers even just as well as they did with their first entry, we're already talking about easy Game of the Year contender. And if they up it, if this sequel is even more mind-blowing than the first, there's going to be few titles that will be able to contend with Forbidden West for Game of the Year. Just saying that right now. Number 4 is Elden Ring. We're getting to the big leagues right here. Easy peasy. From Software Games hold a very dear spot in my heart. The first game that I ever streamed on twitch.tv/TheNYCGeek, shameless plug time, sorry, was Sekiro. I love Sekiro. I still think Sekiro is the most polished game that From Software has ever released. It's not my favorite. My favorite is still Dark Souls 3. I love Dark Souls 3 because it's got that character customization and whatnot. But if you know one thing about their games, it's that they always improve on them. You can see the difference from like Dark Souls 2, the Bloodborne, the Dark Souls 3, the Sekiro. Those small quality of life improvements, the refining of their combat, which has always been the core of their games. It's the brutal bash your head against the wall combat, but rewarding every bit of it. It's just the story, you know, especially in Sekiro, they really put a bigger emphasis on actually giving you less vague bits of the lore like in the previous games and more of a look, this is actually what's happening. It's take all this, you take all that and combine it with George Martin's ability to write and create lore. Let me look. Say what you will about the guy. I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not. But the man can definitely create a world that is rich in characters, history, culture, and I say it to everyone I know. When this game comes out, I'll probably be doing like a 24-hour stream. I will. Because I can't believe I'm saying this. No game do I look forward to dying as much in as I do Elden Ring. I can't wait. That big fucking you're dead screen. Number 3. Yeah. Number 3 right here. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? Yes. A Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah. It's above Elden Ring. I cannot deny the sheer power that some of these other entries are going to have in the gaming world. I get it. But I stand by the fact that I think A Plague Tale Innocence is one of the best story-focused games I've ever played. Ever played. I love Amicia and Ugo and the relationship between these two siblings. The stealth gameplay was tight. No bugs, gorgeous setting. Again, an incredible story. I cannot recommend the first game enough. There are only 2 other games I am looking forward to more than this one. And those are like steeped in like a lot of history for me. And that's the only way that they were able to top it. Otherwise, this would be my most anticipated game of 2022. Yeah, you damn right. Plague Tale Requiem. I'm going to say it again. Number 3 on the list. And if you really want to see my high for it, check out my Video Game Awards coverage and see how gleefully I scream when they reveal the trailer for this game. Let's go. Number 2. God of War Ragnarok. Gotta say it. Look behind me. God of War is hands down my favorite console franchise. I have played and be in every single God of War game on the hardest difficulty. And I don't say this to like brag or something like that, because God knows I'm an awful gamer. But I say this because the sheer fervor I have for this game franchise cannot be understated. And yes, I even destroyed God of War Betrayal back on my phone back in like 2006 or 7. I think it was 2007 when it came out, because I remember I was still at my old job. And I was like sneaking, like I was like this, looking behind my shoulder as I was playing the game. And like I would play it like this, and I had my one hand on the keyboard so they could be like, Jose, what you doing? Nothing, man. I'm working. But yeah, God of War Betrayal was a fun phone game too. It's not just the awesome combat of the previous games, and then the redone combat of 2018, which was a huge change and a great step in, updating and keeping it fresh, or the kick-ass visuals. Kratos is, to me, one of the most well-written, complex characters in all of gaming. His tale truly could be an actual Greek tragedy. And I don't mince words when I say that God of War 2018 was the greatest game of the prior console generation. Absolutely. Which excites me for Ragnarok and also worries me because I might be putting it on a pedestal of hype that might just kill me before the game is even released. But hell yeah, number 2 for me, which means number 1 has to be a doozy, right? It is. It is. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Number one. Baldur's Gate 3. The sequel to my favorite video game of all time. Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn, and the expansion Throne of Ball. Let me say it again. Let me stress it. I need you to listen carefully, okay? Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn is not only my favorite game of all time, I think it is the best video game ever created. Ever. Nothing else. I dumped hundreds upon thousands of hours into this game growing up. And it's no secret, I love Dungeons and Dragons, and the Forgotten Realms is my favorite campaign setting. I never thought that I would get to play in it in a video game format. I had been playing it tabletop, but never did I think I would play it in a video game the way I did back in the original Baldur's Gate in 2018 and BG2 in 2000. I still have my original manual for Baldur's Gate 2, which was like a 200 something plus page monstrosity. And I loved it. It had all the spells and everything in it. This game, the only reason I don't hype it as much for other people, like if people ask me what my favorite game is, I tell them it's this. But the only reason I don't go out and say, you gotta buy this and get it, is because I get that the core of the game, the system, especially for the combat and stuff like that, was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd Edition, which was extremely and needlessly complicated, and there are way better systems out there. So I get it. That is unfortunately always going to be something dated for that game. But you got to remember, I'm talking about it at its time, and even with its, AD&D 2nd Edition being a pain at times, like to hit Armor Class 0 is but the story alone, the just characters that you interact with, all that just blows anything out there. And now the love I have for this game has made me exceptionally wary to any true sequels to it. But Larian Studios, in my opinion, has what it takes. I do. If there is any company right now that can match BioWare back at its peak, we're talking about BioWare at its peak, not the garbage Andromeda and the shit that they put out recently. What was it, Anthem? That disaster? Get that out of here. No, I'm talking about BioWare at its peak is Larian Studios. The work they did with the Divinity series, incredible. I can promise you, I will spend hundreds of hours creating new race and class combos, just like I did in Baldur's Gate 2. And I haven't touched it on Steam. I know that you can go in now, you can jump in the alpha. Absolutely not. Nope. I will not touch this game until it's completed. Until Larian Studio says it is done, that's when I will prepare myself for it. I don't care. I'll be like a starving man waiting for a steak. But when I finally get that steak and it's cooked, it's just it. That is easily my most anticipated game of the year. And those are my top 10 anticipated games of 2022. Look, I know there's a lot. There's tons more games I could have gone into. I could have picked the other ones. And otherwise, this list would have been like 20 or something like that. But I can't tell you how I truly, truly believe that we are in store for an amazing year when it comes to gaming. We really are. I'm so excited. From Baldur's Gate to Dying Light 2. We got a good stretch of gaming here, and I hope, you guys are looking forward to some of these as well. If you are, let me know in the comments. What are some of the games you're looking forward to? Do you agree with some of the games that I said? Are they on your list? Let me know some of the ones that I might not have said. I might have either missed it, or like I said, just didn't have enough room within the top 10 for them. And if you like this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like. I tell you, if you dislike it, to hit the dislike button, but YouTube is dumb and took that away from all of us. So what can I tell you? But let me know. And I would love to interact with you all and just read your comments. And as always, please take care of yourselves and stay safe.